It seems like Bangladesh's return to democracy is constantly facing roadblocks. The election that is supposed to bring change and reforms has been pushed to the margins because Bangladesh is on fire. Violence has gripped the country after the assassination of student leader Osman Hadi. And in the aftermath of his killing, 4 major incidents have sent shockwaves within the country and the region. In the latest incident, a student-led National Citizen Party leader, Mohammad Muhtalab Shikdar, was shot at today. He is currently undergoing treatment at a hospital. Not just this, one of the most gruesome attacks took place in Lakhimpur area, where a mob reportedly torched the house of a BNP leader. This incident took place in the aftermath of Osman Hadi's death. Bilal Hussein's house was locked and set on fire by some miscreants. His wife and children were sleeping at the time of this. Bilal and his 2 other daughters suffered severe burns, but it was his 7-year-old daughter who could not survive this attack. Earlier, we all know how on the 19th of December, 27-year-old Deepu Chandra Das, a minority in Bangladesh, was lynched by a mob in Mymensingh after being accused of blasphemy, evoking reactions from rights groups. In fact, the incident has drawn sharp criticism from India as well. Bangladesh's chief advisor, Muhammad Yunus, said that at least 10 people have been arrested in connection with the murder of Das. Media outlets have also come under attack. People set fire to several buildings in Dhaka, including the offices of the leading newspapers, Prathamalo and the Daily Star. Cultural institutions and the residence of a former minister were attacked as well. Meanwhile, the embassies of United States and European Union expressed condolences on Osman Hadi's death. But here's what's unfortunate. They have remained silent on all of these violent attacks and incidents that followed Hadi's death. Political tensions are already on the boil. The country's topmost political forces, BNP and Jamaat, are at loggerheads. In a separate incident earlier this month, Jamaat and BNP workers clashed during a campaign event. At least 15 Jamaat workers were injured in this incident. Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or the BNP, is a major political force after outlawed Awami League of Sheikh Hasina. Its acting chairperson and Khaleda Zia's heir apparent, Tariq Rahman, is expected to return to the country after 18 years in exile. The party has organized a large public gathering on the 25th of December. But the failure to quell violence puts a big question mark on Yunus administration. The student-led movement removed Hasina and propelled Muhammad Yunus to power. With the same forces out on the streets once again, can he really put his foot down and ensure a level playing political field? Or is the pre-election violence setting a tone of things to come in Bangladesh's political landscape? Let's try and get answers to these challenging questions that not just Bangladesh but the entire region faces. I'm joined by Dr. Tara Kartha. She's a former director, National Security Council, Secretariat. She's joining us from New Delhi at the moment. Dr. Kartha, good evening. Welcome to WION. Can I first start by asking you how you see the situation right ahead of the elections? There's Jamaat, which has been accused of all the violent incidents that are taking place in the country at the moment. There's BNP, which as per polls is topping the survey as far as winning elections is concerned. And then there's Awami League, which has been banned by Muhammad Yunus. As far as the upcoming elections are concerned, do you think they will happen?
One kind of hopes that the violence will die down, though I'm not at all optimistic. Because there seems to be a kind of pattern in this violence. It is not just, it's like the attack on the media. Why would anybody want to attack 2 of the leading newspapers here? Right? They are definitely not pro-India. They have been very critical of India in the past. So that shouting by the mob was absolutely erroneous. Who sent them there? Why is it that they started, this whole boiling point has been reached? I mean, before the election, we all expected that the issue of Hasina would be raised, that would be a prime point between all political parties. That was pretty certain. But now, where this killing of this this Hadi himself, Osman Hadi, is perplexing. So there seems to be a deliberate attempt to incite violence. And now what you find is each one is sort of pointing fingers at the other. I think the NCP leaders are saying that the establishment has failed.
Yeah.
That they have a hand in it. So the BNP and Jamaat, like you said, are in full this thing. But I would, the kind of things I'm seeing is, like I said, is beyond the Jamaat is a pretty violent party. That's a given. But this is beyond even them. There's a lot of other groups, I suspect, we'll have to wait and see, who are also involved in this. So I'm very, very, very pessimistic about elections.
And therefore, Dr. Kartha, your response leads me to my next question. Who do you think is trying to, set roadblocks for the upcoming elections or not let it happen at all? A lot of observers think it's Jamaat. Awami League says Jamaat and Muhammad Yunus have a nexus between them. Who, according to you, is trying to halt the elections? Can we put a finger on one political force?
That would be little sort of speculative, but the point is that the Jamaat has never been able to win elections. It has never been able to. This time, I think they felt they had a far better chance of doing it because of the revolution, because of the fact that the whole, uprising against Hasina brought them much more into the limelight. But the reality is that the mainstream parties, which includes Awami League, by the way, all have a solid support in the rural areas. So the Jamaat, for all its rhetoric, has not been able to get that kind of support. Are they involved in this process? I don't know. I have no evidence to that effect, so I would not like to comment. But the anti-India factor in this is huge. I mean, first it was anti-Hasina, and anti-Hasina morphed into anti-India. So the two have become one, which is, it makes no sense at all to me. And this is being pushed even by, I'm sorry to say this, but even by the government. I mean, you had the government pulling up the Indian ambassador saying, this person who killed this man has run away to India, whereas now the Bangladesh agencies, and I must say hats off to them, they've said, no, we have no proof that he ran to India at all. The Bangladesh police, the army are all behaving with great responsibility. Okay. So that's something which is happening. So let's hope they can calm.
Yeah. It's also interesting, Dr. Kartha, how the BNP and Jamaat at one point were allies in early 2000s when they'd formed the government, and now, of course, they're fighting against each other. But quickly, before I let you go, one last question. How do you see the Western embassies condoling and extending their condemnation of Osman Hadi's death and not saying a word on the violent attacks that have followed his death?
I think it's pathetic. I'm not going to try to excuse this in any way. That you can, I'm sorry, Osman Hadi was a young man, he deserved to live, he was somebody who was, well, not exactly a youth icon, but one of the persons there. But these are supposed to be democracies. Where is the condemnation of the attack on two major dailies? Where is the attack, against, this is pathetic. I don't know what else to say.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it there. Dr. Tara Kartha, thank you very much for speaking with us at WION. And we'll have to wait and watch, of course, how Bangladesh crisis moves on from here and how these elections are consulted and, of course, carried out in Bangladesh next year. But thank you very much for joining us at the moment.
Thank you.